Long summer. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nathan Bombries. I'm the Managing Director with Glasgow Warriors. And so, welcome to this evening's event. The first thing I'd like to say to all of you, I think it's the first chance we've had to see many of you since the final day in Dublin. And I just wanted to say on behalf of the club, a big thank you to all of you who made the effort to come over, and all of you who made the effort to get in front of a television and support the club on that day. It wasn't quite the day we had all hoped it had been, but the support we received really sent a message around the Pro 12 and European rugby that Glasgow is a growing club. So thank you for your support. But you're not here to hark back and think back at last season. You're here obviously because you've renewed your support again, or maybe some first timers as well for the new season ahead. So you're here to hear about the season ahead, which is tremendous. And again, I thank you for committing yourselves to a number of weekends here at Scotstoun this season. There's been quite a few developments in the off season I can tell you about. We've actually been kicked out for the Commonwealth Games, so we've had the players have had and coaches have had a period of about 7 or 8 weeks where they've had to train at various locations around Glasgow and elsewhere. And in fact, off the field, we've had to squeeze into one tiny office as well. So we've had it's only a week back with the whole organisation back here at Scotstoun. We've had you'll be pleased to hear that we've had some significant investment in the pitch. So it's had, yes, I thought that would be, so there's been a whole new drainage system put in, new drainage. They've dug out all the undersoil heating pipes and put new drainage in below, put in 4.5 centimeters of new sand, and put some sand and grit slits, and done all kinds of technical stuff. I don't even have a garden at home, and here I am trying to be an expert on a pitch, but they assured us it's going to be good to go for the season. So it's looking good, and it was looking good at this point last year too. But we do expect to get a good season out of that pitch. We've also got some new broadcasters on board this season. The Pro 12 matches will be shown live on Sky Sports. We've taken over Saturdays, so it's great that we've got a major broadcaster showing our matches live in a language most of us understand. But it comes with a downside as well. It means that Sky, the arrangement with Sky is they take over Saturdays, so Sky have exclusivity on Saturdays, which means that the other broadcasters have to look at Fridays and Sundays for some of their matches. So in Wales, the Welsh broadcasters are still very important. Rugby's obviously a very, very high priority for the people in Wales, and so the Friday night and the Sunday afternoon slot are the two slots for the Welsh broadcasters, which means we do have a couple of Sunday games in our schedule as well. And then we've got here in Scotland, we've got BBC Alba, and now have discovered a red button that does English language commentary, which is a tremendous development. And no, it's been that's been a lot of hard work put in by Scottish Rugby and ourselves, and the success, I think, of the last couple of seasons at Glasgow has opened the eyes of the BBC to what can be and what should be achieved with a rugby coverage. And then we're also going to have 6 games shown live on BBC Two. So hopefully Friday nights, but there'll be some of the away games as well. So that's 6 games for the first half of the season, split between Glasgow and Edinburgh. So great coverage. It's going to get us in front of all of Scotland, and again, that will have a red button with Gaelic language commentary if you're interested. So real tremendous. And we've got our first preseason game here on Saturday. We've got Harlequins coming up and a chance to test out the pitch at Scotstoun, where we launched our new kit. We've got 2 new kits, a home and away kit today, and those will be on sale along with a range of other merchandise from Macron at the game on Saturday as well. So it's a lot to look forward to in this season. And now I'll stop talking and let you get down to what you want to hear about, which is the rugby. So could I ask you to give a round of applause as I introduce our head coach, Gregor Townsend.
Good evening, and thanks for coming in so many numbers. It's great to see there's an excitement, a buzz, and an interest in the next season coming up. What I'd like to do is first have a little review of last season, my thoughts of the coaching staff, what we've been working on during pre-season, and then a look forward to the season. There are 2 or 3 slides, so if you do wave at the back, if you can't see the writing, I'll explain exactly what I've got up there. But to get you in the mood, we're going to show a little montage that BBC Alba did for us leading up to the final, which I'm sure you've maybe seen or certainly heard the song.
We make mistakes, we rise again, we choose the road we shouldn't take, we bend the rules, we cross the line, it's just enough to feel alive, but it makes us who we are tonight. We play with fire, we laugh or cry, we taste the dark to see the light. We're wild and free, without a clue. We put our trust in someone new, but it makes us who we are tonight. Every battle, every scar, we are warriors, we were shouting from our hearts. This is who we are, we have traveled near and far. For the thousand wars, we were screaming from our hearts. This is who we are. This is who we are. Every battle, every scar, we are warriors, we were shouting from our hearts. This is who we are, we have traveled near and far. For the thousand wars, we were screaming from our hearts. This is who we are. This is who we are.
It's a great video, isn't it? Okay, just as a gauge, hands up the people that like that song. Good to hear. A few weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, I heard this song on the radio, and next day I came into work. I said, "There's a song that says we are warriors. We should use it." And then someone at work googled and said it was by Boyzone, so they said no chance. We can't use that, but it grew on the people at work, and the guys at BBC Alba put a great video together. So forget about being Boyzone. I thought the words were fantastic. Well, BBC Alba did very well there to show all the players that were involved in our season last year. So I think the pictures of everyone in the squad. We played almost 50 players throughout the league season, and it really was a squad effort to get us to that final and have that great run of games going up to the RDS. Just to review a little bit of last season, this was very pleasing that we got our first home semi-final. That league table there, if you can't see at the back, shows that we had the most wins out of any team in the league last year, which is a great achievement from the players. A couple other highlights for me would be the 1872 Cup. It's always nice to get that trophy and beat Edinburgh. And even better that the game was played at the closer to the end of the season on a dry track, and we managed to score some cracking tries. Favourite weekend for the squad and the coaches was this weekend. Melrose 7's win came, I think, about an hour after a historic win over at Thomond Park when we beat Munster out there. So the same weekend that we were winning against Munster, another part of our squad were playing really well, had a real professional performance down at Melrose. So it was a tremendous weekend. We set a goal for the team to be the toughest team to beat, and also to play the fastest rugby in Europe. So last year, in terms of ranking in our league, we were ranked first in points conceded and first in tries conceded, which means we, on paper, had the best defence. In terms of playing the fastest rugby, we're ranked first in our league for the number of offloads, third for the number of line breaks, and fifth for tries scored. Obviously, we'd like that tries scored to go a bit higher. Just looking at the offloads, compared to all the teams throughout the world, ourselves and Toulouse rank highest, even out of the teams that play Super Rugby. So it's something that players have really taken to, that offloading, that playing at pace. A bit more detail on a try scored. We look at a lot of areas where what source of possession we score our tries from, what time in the game. This one area of real interest to me is where we score our tries. So we're ranked first at tries scored from our half, so that's the longest range tries. We scored 20. I think the next best in the league was 13. Mid-range we're ranked fourth, and then that area in opposition 22 we're ranked fifth. Again, would like to be ranked first in all those areas, but the pleasing thing was that scoring tries from distance and going through a number of phases shows the players know what they want to do, and they're able to have a real attack at the opposition and play with ambition. One of the most pleasing things for me last season was our consistency. And there's consistency right through this organisation. It starts first with the investment we get, the support from Scottish Rugby. A lot of you'll know the history of professional rugby in Scotland, and maybe the investment wasn't there, or the investment for the future wasn't there a number of years ago, but the last few years we've had real investment from Scottish Rugby. The facility here is fantastic, we're now based in, so there's been consistency and a backing the clubs here to last. There's also been real consistency from support, from you guys turning up to support us here and more away from home. And it's fantastic to see there's almost 4,000 at our game in the final at the RDS. The players show consistency all the time. So how they turn up and train, how they look after themselves off the field. Our training sessions at the end of the season were some of the best we've ever seen, and we've been involved in a number of teams, international teams as well. The beginning of this season has been tremendous. Last week, the Monday and Tuesday sessions were a real high quality, as was yesterday. And that consistency translates into better performances. We played 31 games last year. We won 21 out of 31. And only one of those games did we not pick up a point, either a losing bonus point or scoring 4 tries. Can you guess which game it was? Anybody? Dragons at home is correct. What a terrible game that was, wasn't it? But you take that game out, that's 30 out of 31 games we've been right in there of either winning the game 21 times or coming close to winning. So it's a credit to the players turning up and fronting up at training and keeping the standards really high every time they play. There are a number of areas to improve right across the board. We want to see improvement to get another 5%, 10%. So I don't want to go into every area, but there's 3 that stand out from a more general perspective. First one is our performances in Europe. We got 11 points. That was 2 victories, 2 wins against an English team, which was great, but we didn't play to our potential in the games against Cardiff, and we had an opportunity to win against Toulon, which we should have taken. 2 other areas, we lost 4 games, as you saw before, in the Pro 12. 3 of them were during international periods, so 1 against the Dragons in November, and 2 defeats during the Six Nations. So we really need to improve that. and that's down to the coaches, how we get the guys back from international period and get them back into the way of playing, and to make sure that we're 100% during that period as well. So looking ahead to this season coming, our purpose, which drove us last year, was to become the first Scottish team to win a title. It's driving again this year. And the fact we got so close last year, played in the final, will motivate us even more. So that's a winning team. Leinster again. We've lost Narla in the semi-final. Now we've taken them on a final, and we know we have to be better next year to earn that chance to play in a final again and go out and win. I want to show you this table. I'm not sure if I showed you last year, but it was where the club has progressed over the last few seasons, not just in our league, but up against the best European teams. So this is a table that gets put together called the Euro ranking table. So it's based on wins throughout the season. It's actually weighted against teams from Scotland and Italy. You get more points if you beat an English and French team. So if you're playing the English league or the French league, you're going to play them more consistently. But we're sitting 5th in that table. We were for the last 6 weeks of the season, which is great. The teams above us, Toulon are now number 1. For years it was Leinster, last 4 years. But more importantly, look at the teams below us. You've got Bath, Munster, Leicester, Clermont, Castres, who were French champions last year, Toulouse, Stade Francais, some really big names. So it's taken a lot from the players to get to that level. We talk about Leinster a lot. We have done the last few years. Before I came to the club, they were always a team that set the bar, the standards, and how to win rugby and how to play at a pace, but also with a real aggression. And we've learned a lot playing against them, and we've improved, and we've managed to beat them. The win here at the beginning of the season last year was a tremendous win. What they've done over the last few years is something we'd like to emulate, and that's what we're working towards. So on the right is Leinster's European ranking. So back in 2008, 6 years ago, they were 9th in Europe, and then they just got consistently better, 4th, first, and now still in the top 2. On the left column is where we've gone from. So if you look from 2011, there's been real progression. 11th, 8th, and 5th, and that arrow is pointing upwards. And I believe with the squad we've got, we can improve on that this year. How we do that is through competition. So the competition we've got in this squad really gives me headaches about which team to select. It's great to see it training. It's great to see the players within the squad improving all the time. The players we brought in this season really add quality to our group. And the winner, I've seen this quote a few weeks ago, the winner is not only the person who practices more, it's also the person who competes better. So we work very hard to improve ourselves as a playing group, but also we compete really hard to get in that starting team. And the players know that they've got to perform, or the player that's competing for them will get picked the following week. So on that, I want to just talk about 3 players. Don't often talk about individual players, but 3 players that were challenging for the number 6 jersey last year. All different, all great club players. First one is Josh Strauss. Now Josh played a number of games at 6, also played at number 8 for us, and just want to say what Josh has done over the last few months. He had a tremendous season for the club, like he had the season before. He's really worked hard off the field to change his nutrition, change the way he prepares for games. Last week he came back and did a fitness test and he shaved 30 seconds off his personal best. He's in the shape of his life, and we can't wait for him to play this weekend against Harlequins in the season. So I just thought I'd share with you what Josh has been doing. As supporters, you know what he's like on the field and what a great player for us he is. Competing for Josh for the number 6 jersey, we have James Eddy. Outstanding season he had last year. He won the Coaches Award, which is given to the player who best represents the values of the club, and that's improving yourself, improving your teammates, and improving the club. And James epitomises all 3 values. He's really worked hard at improving his own game. He's the best at a training session of G'ing up with other players, even if he's not on the team, really making the trainings go well, helping his teammates, and he's, as you speak to anybody on the commercial side, marketing side of the club, he's fantastic at spreading all the good things about Glasgow Warriors. He also had a tremendous season for the Sevens last year. Played for Scotland Sevens, played really well, and played for our winning Sevens team down at Melrose. And the final guy pushing for that number 6 jersey was your player of the season, Rob Harley, who again epitomises so much of the good values of the club. Someone that puts his body in the line, unselfish acts, sacrificial acts, seems to love it the more blood he gets in his face, the more someone punches him from the opposition. So that really sums up the squad in any number of positions. Obviously that's the role of blindside flanker, but we've got that competition right throughout every position in our group. I wanted to show you a little video of what the guys have been doing in pre-season. Nathan alluded to the fact that it was a different pre-season for us. We had to be out of Scotstoun for about 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So we looked at various venues in Glasgow, and there wasn't any really available during the Commonwealth Games. So we decided to do something different. We thought we'd give the players just 1 week's holiday this year instead of the normal 4 weeks. So those players that weren't on tour came back in a week later and worked really hard for 5 weeks. Then they knew they'd get a 3-week holiday during July when we had to be out of Scotstoun. And part of that 5 weeks was a 2-week training camp in the south of France, so it wasn't all bad, next to Perpignan, and they trained really, really well. And it was new territory for us. Munster had done the same the year before, so we'd learned from what they'd done, and they started the season really well, and obviously had a very good season themselves. So there was science and research behind what we were trying to do. The players have came back from that 3-week holiday in the best shape of their lives. I mentioned Josh Strauss coming back and knocking 30 seconds off his PB on a fitness test. So it seems to have worked well for us, and we've made the most of that situation when we had to be out here. So this is the type of work the players have done this pre-season or continue to do. No. Here it comes.
Say you'll be my Messiah.
It's a great video. Thanks to Gavin Vaughan, our analyst, for putting that together. It was a great video. He deserves a round of applause. So you can tell there's a lot of hard work going in there. We're combining our fitness and our conditioning work with work that's relevant to what we do in the field. So a lot of skill work, games, wrestling that turns into clearing contact. Out in France, we found a dojo, a judo gym right beside where we were training, which I'm sure the players were delighted with. And one day, I wasn't there the day that it was pouring a rain, so they had to do a double session in the judo gym and the dojo. So those are a really tough session, but we felt the benefits of doing all that wrestling and judo work last season, and we've carried on this year. One theme is for the players is to really improve their skills during pre-season, right throughout the season, and that's to get 10,000 touches between now and the end of season. And we came up with a figure that's achievable because we tracked the players one day last week. We tracked a forward and a back, and I think Peter Horn was the back we tracked. He got 107 touches, and James Eddy was the forward, which was 91 times he got on the ball. So we worked out if they carry that on, and that's not even including games, they'll get those 10,000 touches by about February. And the improvement, how many times they get on the ball, you can see that they're improving their skills all the time. Right at the end, you saw a try by Mark Bennett, which was last Friday. We had an internal game of sevens. That was when that Nico offloaded out the back. So I thought you'd be interested in seeing the teams that we put together. We only had 21 players that could do contacts. It was great. We managed to have 3 teams of sevens. Three teams. So they played 2 games. So if you can see the names in the back there, a pretty good 7-a-side team. So first team, Adam Ash, Fraser Brown, Josh Strauss, Lee Jones, the captain, Peter Murchie, Mark Bennett and DTH. Went up against Rob Harley, Kevin Bryce, Chris Fasaro, Manny McConnell, Duncan Weir, Leone and Tommy Seymour. And the last team, James Eddy, Pat, Tyrone, Nico, Peter Horn, James Downey and Rory Hughes. So they were very equal games. It was great to see the guys have a head out. I think there was 2 draws. And I think it might have been team 1. Can't remember which team won, but I'm sure Chris Fasaro's team won. All right, so that's a rugby, which is obviously a massive part of what we do on a daily basis. But it's really the culture that is at the base of our success. How the players work hard for each other, really work hard for the club. How they get on and the standards they set, the learning that goes on a daily basis. And the improvement we see every day. We're really fortunate this summer that as a coaching group we managed to learn from some great organisations. Kenny Murray, our assistant coach, had 3 weeks out at Canterbury rugby and with the Crusaders. Gavin, our analyst, was with a couple of clubs from the NFL after the Scotland tour to America. I was out in Australia, so I spent a couple of days with the Waratahs and the Brumbies. And one of the rugby league clubs, and Matt Taylor was also out in Australia, and he spent time with Melbourne Storm Rugby League Club and Geelong, which are the #1 AFL team. So we've picked up a lot of learning. Obviously we can't put everything into what we do, but little bits here and there will really give us an edge this year, and also reaffirms what we're doing and what the players are doing is up there with the best organised. To take a photo of one of our sponsors, the Malcolm Group, one of the lorries. You may know that a few of our players are on the back of Malcolm's lorries. So we thought they might get one lorry as they're going past. But one of the groups said, let's just send two players, get in a taxi and go to the depot and take photos of 50. So that earned them lots of points. They had to get a photograph with a Commonwealth Games medalist. One group got a photo with Tom Daly, another group got a photo with Hannah Miley. That to interview people in the street and ask them questions about Glasgow Warriors. There was lots of tasks and they did a tremendous job. So I'm going to show you the highlights from the winning team, which was Clan Grant. Clan Grant, wasn't it? Ryan Grant was the clan chief, so it'll be quite funny. So
a Munster perspective on that game.
Jeez, don't know where you start on that one. Obviously, the lads are very disappointed, but for me personally, to play in a game like that against such an up-and-coming team, I think stood out huge for me. You know, it was one of those things I remembered when I was speaking to Gregor, and I mentioned it to him that I felt the togetherness of the team, and suppose it's always hard when you have a crowd like that against you. And I think we just couldn't pull it out of the bag at the time, which is a bit unfortunate. A few dodgy refereeing decisions, of course. Yeah, and I think Nico had his gum shield in that day as well. So. No, but look, it's one of them things to lose a semi. That's what happens. I think Gregor mentioned it again earlier. Last year Glasgow lost the semi, and this year they got to the final. And it's about that experience and bringing it on to the next level this year. And for me, it was one of the main reasons I wanted to come over here as well.
And you've had some experience in some big games with Northampton and with Munster in your.
This was a whirlwind, you know. I think 5 months ago I was playing with there, then to go and play in the semi-final, final, and then going to it was, I don't know, it was hard to believe at the time.
And what's next? What can we expect this season? What are you looking forward to? What are your kind of goals this season?
Just stay hopefully in the squad, play well, and reach that semi-final, final again.
Very good.
But win it.